Hey everyone, Tad Larkin here with something a little different than your usual lore video. As many of you who watch my channel know, I have been privately developing my own Star Wars Empire war mod for almost 7 years at this point, and I wanted to give you all a first look. Legends mod The Clone Wars aims to offer an experience that isn't available in a lot of Forces of Corruption mods out there today, an authentic and faithful strategy experience of the Clone Wars as depicted in the Clone Wars multimedia project. The Clone Wars multimedia project was, in a nutshell, all of the established material surrounding the Clone Wars published between 2002 and 2005, starting from the end of Attack of the Clones and leading into the Revenge of the Sith, with its media published in real time so you could have potentially followed the events of the war while you awaited the release of Revenge of the Sith. With that being said, I found that most Clone Wars Forces of Corruption mods currently available are either solely reliant on TCW as a theme or combine both Expanded Universe and TCW elements, but none from what I could see were solely based on the Expanded Universe, without anything sprinkled in from TCW or even the post-Disney buyout canon for that matter. So what I did is I went ahead and started making one, and here's what I've got so far. It should be noted that I have no dedicated modeler and no modeling capabilities of my own, so everything you see here is either free release on ModDB, monetarily commissioned or purchased rights of use from modelers, models I've been given permission to use, and or models that are just placeholders until I can find/commission something better. First thing you'll notice when jumping in is that a lot of the space units are already in-game and functional. That being said, the roster isn't fully filled yet, as there are some ships I'm waiting to get money to commission models for or ask permission for. There are two main playable factions within the mod, the Confederacy of Independent Systems and the Galactic Republic. However, there will also be a few minor non-playable factions, such as the Hutts and Pirates. There are plans to explore a little bit past the Clone Wars and into the reconquest of the Rim, where the Galactic Empire and CIS holdouts would be added as factions. However, that is not what we're focusing on just yet, and may not be added until future patches and updates. Going into the Galactic Conquests, you'll notice that we have 2 custom campaigns currently in development, but what we have planned is at least 6 story-driven campaigns and a few sandbox campaigns. The 3 big story campaigns will reflect each year of the Clone Wars conflict, and will present you with missions and objectives that will guide you through the chronological history of the conflict. But as of now, the first year story campaign and the main sandbox campaign are what we're focusing on, as we continue to add more planets to the galactic map as I complete more land and space maps. A few smaller story-driven campaigns are planned that will focus on specific operations and theaters of the war, and will have their own major heroes for the factions, but work has not yet commenced on these. As for Skirmish, not a whole lot of progress has been made on that front, but it is playable and I do use it occasionally to test new units or fix bugs in existing ones, but we'll launch a land skirmish now just to show you. As you can see, most of the buildings are from the stock game, and I tweaked the textures a bit. I figured that the Rebel Alliance would have probably used a lot of surplus military stuff from the Republic anyways, so it tracks for them to have vanilla Rebellion buildings. And of course, for the CIS, it is established in Forces of Corruption that the Zon Consortium looted a lot of CIS manufacturing capability when he captured Hypori, so that tracks as well for them to have Zon Consortium buildings. The whole range of heroes and units that is currently available in Galactic Conquest is not wholly available yet in Skirmish, but once the Galactic Conquest area of production is nearing completion, we'll start fleshing out Skirmish a bit more. Space Skirmish is the same deal, where not all heroes and units that are available in Galactic Conquest are currently in Skirmish, but as I said earlier, that's something that will be worked on later. You'll notice that space stations are still the same. We are currently working towards implementing a shipyard system like a lot of other mods are doing. It just makes more sense from a lore perspective and adds more objectives to space combat. Space stations will basically be turned into frigate and capital shipyards, while the orbital special structure slots in Galactic Conquest will allow you to build defense platforms like Golans and the Banking Clan gun platform. Segueing back into Galactic Conquest, I'm gonna open up a sandbox campaign for each faction and give you a rundown of what's going on. Going with the Republic, we start off at Tech 1. However, the tech system has been reorganized into different canonical bills that the Senate has to pass, and these act like the vanilla tech levels for the Empire, but is made to reflect the different phases of the war rather than research. Currently, the tech levels can be researched at the Vanilla Research Facility, but I'm contemplating on combining the research facility and the Senate Embassy into one building, where you debate legislation rather than research technology, on top of being able to recruit minor senatorial heroes and units. Tech Level 1 is the Emergency Powers Act. This is the immediate first few months of the war. You'll notice that you have mostly Phantom Menace-era technology, militia forces, and clone units are only buildable in squads. This is to reflect the fact that not all clones were ready for deployment in the war's early months, and the Republic's reliance on militias and PDF forces during this period. Next tech level is the Military Creation Act, which unlocks more units and buildings to start beefing up your Navy and ground forces. You'll also notice that clone units are now buildable in platoons. Tech 3 is the Reflex Amendment, which unlocks even more buildings and units that reflect what was available to the Republic during the late first year, early second year of the war. You'll also notice that you can now recruit full companies of clone troopers. By Tech 4, which is the Enhanced Security and Enforcement Act, max manufacturing capability is available to you as you reach the late second year of the war, and start to see more powerful warships like the Victory and Venator class become available to you. And finally, at Tech 5, which is the Sector Governance Decree, we reach the war's late stage, where all Revenge of the Sith-style technology and major/minor heroes are available to you. It also locks some irrelevant units like Militia, Phase 1 clones, and some early Attack of the Clones era technology that isn't used by Revenge of the Sith, to save up some space on the build bar. As for heroes, these are the major heroes we have available to us in the Sandbox campaign. However, in the story-driven Galactic Conquest modes, the major heroes will change depending on when and which theater the scenario takes place in. We also have buildings like the aforementioned Senate Embassy, Advanced Clone Training Facility, Jedi Outposts, and the not yet implemented Naval Officer Academies, which will allow you to recruit a whole host of minor heroes and specialized units. Switching over to the CIS, we also start at Tech 1, where I've removed the Steel Tech system that the Rebellion uses in the vanilla game and replaced it with the Empire's Tech Research system. However, a friend of mine, for his mod, has it so that each tech level is actually one of the founding members of the CIS signing the Arms Treaty, and each level adds units from those different corporate entities. For example, Tech 1 would be the Trade Federation, so you'd have all Trade Federation tech like AATs, MTTs, Lucrehulks, etc., while Tech 2 would bring in units from the Techno Union, then 3 would be the Banking Clan, and so on and so forth. So I'm considering but haven't yet decided on adopting his neat idea. For now, I just have it so that tech levels roughly line up with the progression of technology throughout the war. The CIS is currently lacking on the hero front due to the lack of models. For example, Toll Score is an essential hero that I really need to get my hands on a model for, but I'll have to commission one. Like I said with the Republic, this is what's available to the CIS in Sandbox for major heroes. However, the story-driven Galactic Conquest scenarios will have different major heroes depending on the time period and theater the scenario takes place in. Similar to the Republic, we have some special buildings that offer economic bonuses like the arenas and ore mines, but also allow recruitment of minor heroes and special units such as the Advanced Droid Factory, Mercenary Barracks, and the not yet implemented Dark Jedi Conclave. The Mercenary Barracks allows you to recruit the organic units famously used by the Separatists. However, you need to control certain planets for certain units to be available. For example, you must own Manda-LORE to recruit Mandalorian Protectors, Jabim to recruit Nimbus Commandos, Trandosha to recruit Trandoshan Slavers, and so on and so on. The Advanced Droid Factory is currently a work in progress, as there's a few more models I'm working on acquiring, but that will allow you to build special droid units like Cortosis Battle Droids, B3 Ultra Battle Droids, Spelunker Droids, and others as I acquire models for them. The Dark Jedi Conclave, once implemented, will allow you to recruit minor Darksider heroes as well as generic Dark Jedi to help counter the sheer amount of Force-using heroes the Republic has to balance things out. One thing you'll notice is that we have a new galaxy model with labeled regions, courtesy of the Farseer, who developed the Rise of the Mandalorians mod that I frequently stream on this channel. I tweaked his model a bit to make some of the regions a tad more accurate, but otherwise left it as is. You'll also notice that planets are in their correct astrographical positions, albeit very spread out. The reason being is because I'm currently attempting to crank out as many land and space maps as I can so we can add more planets, which of the approximate 200 or so planned planets, we've only completed 9, as many of you have seen during my map making streams on this channel. So if you have experience making maps for Empire at War, Forces of Corruption, and are interested in helping out, please let me know either here in the comments or on ModDB, because my team and I could really use the help. Despite the immense amount of progress that's been made in the last year or so, there's still a lot to do. Obviously more maps are needed for more planets and more models are needed for more units, but also small things like particles and projectiles still need to be added/updated, as well as an overhaul of the user interface. My team and I also have some ideas for completely new mechanics that we would like to implement. However, for the time being, we're working on getting the main skeleton of the mod functioning as well as looking good. If you're interested in following the progress of the mod, be sure to check out its ModDB page linked in the description. Also, my Patreon contributors often get sneak peeks and updates on the mod as well. A quick shout out to my patrons: Wildcat144, Zexend, JTribs1997, Wirefox Terrier, Dave the Grave, Zim the Despot, Matt Patton, Hawk2274, Cal Scarada, Angry Mutt, Chris Evans, Mayo4, Moonman, Noah Shane 45, and The Framinator. Thank you all for watching, and now back to our regularly scheduled Star Wars lore videos. Tad Larkin out.